Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Dion's Daily Dose for Wednesday, September 9th, 2020. What do you think of the intro? My friend Manuel got that done for me, and I like it. I think it's good, short, to the point, cute. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments. So it's coming, right? The thing we've all been waiting for, the presidential debates. They should be glorious, right? So I'm going to tell you, we're working on something that I think is going to be a heck of a lot of fun. Liz had a great idea where we will have a debate watch party where you can either virtually or in person come watch the debates with us. Or if you prefer to stay home, you may join us online. YouTube, Twitter, all this stuff, right? So YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, obviously, and we're working on trying to get LinkedIn hooked up to it. That's not going well, but all of you are welcome. We're going to have 3 debate locations where you can come out if you want, or join us online, and you can interact with. At the moment, we have a couple of candidates who are interested. I'm hosting it. We're going to see who else we can get involved in this, but you'll have an opportunity to interact with your candidates for office and other like-minded individuals, because I'm going to tell you, there are a lot more people that think like you and I than the media would have you believe. There are many, many more. I think it'll generate some excitement for the election. I think it'll help with name recognition, and I think it will help to get people excited and interested and involved. The credit for this goes to my wife, Elizabeth. I have to make sure I mention that, but we're trying to get more and more people involved in it because I really think it can be awesome. We had some ideas for maybe some giveaways. One of my friends wants to do a drinking game. I said I'm not sure how well that would go over, but what we can do is, for example, if every time Trump says China, you before the debate, you say, well, I think he's going to say it 12 times. I think he's going to say it 16 times, right? And then you win, right? The closest person without going over gets a Trump sticker or whatever. Yeah. So let me know what you think. I think I think it has the potential to be something amazing. And for those that are medically frail, for those that are concerned about social distancing or being too close to people that are concerned about the virus, you can join us virtually. We'll have some banners that run across, donate if you want, get involved. Here's where you go vote. A lot of information for people to check out, to click on, to get the information that they need in order to make sure you're registered to vote. Where are your polling locations? Here are the candidates that are going to be on your ticket. I think it's got a lot of potential. We're working on setting it up now. Everyone that I've talked to has been really excited about it and thinks it'll be, a great time. I hope it doesn't bomb like I did in Westville. So I do have some information that I want to share with you about the Westville Town Hall that I attended. Now, if you remember, when I went to the Pines Town Hall, for those of you who have not seen this, I was assured that the current state rep does not care about any areas outside of Michigan City. Well, apparently that's not entirely accurate, because I mentioned that at Westville and they said, well, no, they have been involved with us. So apparently that only applies to people in Porter County and outside of Westville and Michigan City. I don't know, but I based on the information that I knew, oops. But I do have some stuff that I want to share with you. I learned a couple of really interesting things. I did ask them, I said, what is your biggest issue as, a small town? And the very first thing that they mentioned was the MVH restricted fund. They said that is killing them. I'm going to do a video on this because there's a lot there, but a quick breakdown is the MVH is motor vehicle and highway, and it's a certain fund that is for road construction, repair, development, all these things, right? The restricted fund, they have to actually take 50. This is actually fairly recent. It's within the last couple of years that this has been designated. They actually have to take half of all the money that goes towards the motor vehicle and highways, MVH, and put it in this fund, the restricted fund. And it's only allowed to be spent on certain things. They said that's been other thing that they said is a cumulative firefighting fund, because one of the speakers while I was there, one of the people that mentioned this is the chief for the volunteer fire department in Westville. And check this out. I have some data that he gave, which is just, it's a lot. I'm not going to bore you with all of it. Although I highly recommend that you tune into the last night's Westville Town Hall. It's online. They did say that they were going to upload it because there's a lot there. But here's the summation. The average, because they are a volunteer fire department, they are not a full-time fire department. The average pay for a battalion chief for a paid fire department is about $83,000 a year. This chief last year made $4,000. That's it. So obviously, volunteer is a huge difference. All of the engines and equipment and all of that, because they're the volunteer fire department is actually a corporation. This is the way that it has to work, and they have a contract with the city. So those who believe that they're overpaying for fire protection, I guess that seems to be a concern of some people. The chief only made $4,000. I would imagine he probably spent that much in gas. There's a lot of figures and stuff, and he covers it far better than I could. But there's a lot of information there, and it really makes you wonder how some of these small towns do it. There's a difference, for example, between the different levels of first responders that they have for the fire department. There are their actual called first responders, and then there are EMTs. Recently, the EMTs were actually allowed to administer certain medications, including the EpiPen, albuterol, and glucose. For a long time, they weren't allowed to do that. They actually had to wait for EMS to arrive from county. Any IVs and stuff, that still has to go through county EMS, just so you know. Another big deal that I want to make sure that I touch on is a couple of the detectives at Westville PD were working on something. And it is a new ordinance. Scrap metal ordinance is what it's called. It's already in LaPorte County, but they changed it a little bit to make it specific to Westville. And here's the goal of it, is to make it a lot more difficult to deal in stolen items, scrap metal, jewelry, things like that. Because Westville itself doesn't have a pawn shop. What they do have is a scrap metal yard, right? Or a salvage yard. There's actually another place that's looking on opening up to deal in things like catalytic converters, scrap metal, stuff like that. And that's a whole other issue. But what they did is they actually made it to where you have to, as a business, you have to collect as much identification as you can from someone who's bringing in a load. You don't have to take a picture of every single item that they have in the load, but you do take a picture of the entirety of it. Picture ID, and you get the license plate of the vehicle they were in. This makes it easier for people who have their stuff stolen and take it to the scrapyard. It makes it easier to find out, to link these things together. Obviously, the vast majority of people that go to the scrapyard, that go to the pawn shop, are just selling the items that they own. It's for that very small percentage in order to help the departments catch up to them. So I don't know that I see a problem with it. I think overall it's probably a good idea. What do you think? It's already done. It's not like it's up for vote. It's already passed. They passed it there. But I'm just curious. Do you think that this is something that has a potential negative, requiring people to identify themselves when they sell items? We generally get IDs when we sell, cars and firearms and things like that. Is it a slippery slope, or is it something that we can do to protect people who are not breaking the law from those who are? What do you think? There's apparently a website. I don't see it. I thought Leads Online. Here it is. It's already paid for by the LaPorte County Sheriff's Department and others, and apparently they put the information in there, and it makes it easier for the various police departments to keep track of this stuff and potentially catch the people that are doing this. Let's see here. Oh, also the Westville Police Department is transitioning from a marshal's department to a municipal police department. I'm not entirely sure as to all the legalities and stuff involved, but it was something that got brought up. Let's see here. So the other thing, back to the fire department for a moment, because I did want to cover this. One of the questions that they got is, why aren't we seeing these firefighters be more visible in the community, like we do in, say, like Michigan City or something like that, where there's a paid fire department? And that was kind of where he started going into the various data points, the different number of calls that they've gotten, the fact that they're strictly volunteer, they're married to their pagers. When the pagers go off, they leave the weddings, the birthday parties, all that stuff, and they go out. There's a point system, and it's a lot. If you want to learn more, I highly recommend you look into the Westville Town Hall meeting from the 8th of September. It was last night. It should be uploaded by now, and you should be able to watch it and learn more, because there's a lot of information there. The EMS calls, every department has a standing mutual aid agreement where they help each other out. They help with manpower. The EMS services cover the supplies, etc. When they first get to the scene, they assess the patient, perform CPR, get the patient's medical history, etc. It actually really cuts down on the time that EMS has to spend with the patient, and also make sure that EMS is able to get to better, more life-saving procedures much sooner, because the first responders have already got what they're doing. So, and one thing it did point out that I thought was really interesting is Westville actually encompasses every mode of transportation. You have the rivers there, you have freight, you have your cars, your trucks, they got the highway right there. So you have every mode of travel there, including rail. Yeah, so that's mostly it. We're gonna deep dive into this MVH, and we're gonna, especially the restricted fund, and see like what it is that's hurting them. I understand the restricted fund has restrictions on how you can spend your money, but what is it about this that's making it so difficult for them? We're gonna do a separate video on that. But let me know if you'd like to attend, whether in person or virtually, the watch party for the debates. I think it'll be a blast. Just so you know, we're planning on having 3. Now, these details are not set in stone yet. They are potential, but our plan is to have the first one in Chesterton, then one in either Westville or Michigan City, and then the last one in the other, right? So Chesterton, Westville, Michigan City, not necessarily in that order, although I think we're going to do Chesterton first. We're probably going to rent a hall, do that. We'll have the streaming like we're doing right now, We'll have this there, and you'll have an opportunity. We're going to have chat sessions. We're going to have all kinds of stuff. I think it'll be a blast. Let me know if that's something that you would be interested in attending. Again, either online or in person. That's where we're at. That's about it for today. The person responsible for the great idea is making food, so I'm going to keep this short and go get my hot dinner. So thank you very much. I appreciate you hanging out with me. God bless you. God bless Indiana. God bless the U.S. of A.